Hi, everyone. So Aaron will be on in a second. Obviously, this is Marcus's account, so he should be on here shortly as well, I believe. So just hold tight, and they'll be here soon. How's everyone doing? Can you all hear me?
These are yours.
I think so.
Really? Wow. Hopefully I got yours. Yeah. I don't need one.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
No, this. There's that.
I hope that guy didn't mess up the order and give us two.
Oh, I hope so, because they'll still send you yours.
Well, I know, but like,
I mean, you don't need them that quick.
no, but I mean, just saying, like, if you get yours, you know, it says your name.
I cut myself out of that group and many groups reading those books, listening to those programs.
It's only 3 here. But there were 6 in here. I'd be like, oh, okay, we're assuming all just.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey.
Hey, I had to launch it from Marcus's account, but he should be on here shortly. We'll just give everyone a couple more minutes to get on here.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Trying to stay busy.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. How are you? Are you in North Carolina, you said?
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina. Yeah, it's a lot easier to stay busy than I thought, which is good. Which is great.
How's everything there?
It's pretty quiet here. But yeah, whole family's here, so thankful to be with them during this time. That's for sure.
Is there a baby?
Here's someone, but I can mute. There we go.
So when it comes to having a team,
There we go.
people to
Awesome. There's Eric. Hey, Eric.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
You look tan. Oh, it's my quarantine beard.
Dude, you need to bring back the 2 foot.
Yeah. Do that with my curl it up again.
Yeah.
How's
Sorry,
Seaside?
taking some notes.
How are you doing, Eric?
We're good.
Family's good. Everyone's doing okay.
She's on her Zoom call.
Oh, hi, Katie.
That's multi
Katie?
offices
Mr.
right
Aaron?
there. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. We got some good attendance. This is great. Very, very good. All right, so let me give a couple parameters right quick, guys. This is very much a mastermind session, so it's going to be a little bit more open forum than a team meeting. However, what I do ask is, because everything's new, I'm going to do this the first few meetings that we knock out, whether it's a small group or big group. If you're on your computer screen, just toggle over. You don't have to click anything. Just toggle over the video. Bottom left, you'll see that mute button. Unless you're talking, do me the button. When you have a question or anything, this is not necessarily a team meeting where we need to raise the hand or anything of that nature. Just unmute, and then it's conversational, right? So Aaron and I, we've gone over some of the curriculum that we want to do today, and yet please know a mastermind is a mastermind. So we're going to I've got 1 more minute until we're going to launch out all the way. So if you guys don't mind, just go ahead and hit those mutes, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Hey, and we'll see how good Aaron is at real estate. We're going to learn today. He didn't know about the pop quiz questions I got for him. He has no idea what's coming. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, buddy. Just kidding.
I'm not even listening to you. Starving the doubt.
I like it. I like it, man. I got to say, today's my first day working at home, and it has been incredible what you can do in your 20% if you remove all distractions. It is. I'm digging it. I kind of like today. I wouldn't like it long term. However, I like it today. So perfect. All right, man. Aaron, you ready to go, bub?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's do it, buddy. Let's do it. So, man, we've had a big 10 days, right? We've had a lot of things kind of coming up, popping up. We're having to. I feel like we're a little bit like Floyd Mayweather, right? A little bit like it. I mean, he's known for defense and dodging and everything. We got negativity coming out. We got news. We got political opinions popping up all over Facebook. Like we got all this noise in our lives right now. And now this is your first shift. Am I right about that?
This is the first time yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say nobody's been through what we're going through.
I agree with that.
As far as the impact and the event. But yes, shift-wise, everything's been on an uptick since really about 8 to 9 months after I got into the industry.
Okay, that's awesome, man. So we've been riding this wave where it's been consistently up, consistently market improving, right? And I think a lot of people know your story. However, I'll remind them shortly, right? So you have a goal this year. Is it 40 million?
Minimal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's our goal. I like that minimum. Yeah. So our minimum goal of 40 million. And man, the market's good. The market's good. Also tornado. And then all of a sudden Corona. So tell me, with this being your first shift, you've got a big goal out there. It would be your record-setting year so far in your career when we hit that 40. Tell me how you're protecting your mindset right now. What are you doing to really stay positive and go after it?
Well, let's start back in October.
Okay.
I was still coming into the office every day. I never stopped lead genning through the holidays. And I put that habit and those practices into work 2-3 years ago, right? When I first started my team, it was a daily get up and get there. And people who work in the office here know that, people have come and gone from my team, and that's part of my learning process and my growth. But my mentality has been to continually press, to put the pedal down on the gas and to be here lead genning so that January comes, I'm not empty handed. February, I'm looking good. And then March, I'm still, when everything's starting to uptick, I'm ahead of the curve. Luckily, I did that again. No, not luckily. I'm sorry. I'll change that. I did it again this year. And so we are in good shape, right? We're on pace for our goals. So when Corona hit, I already have money and closings coming in for the next 30 to 45 days. So my initial mental shock is not, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? But okay, where am I going to be in 45 days?
I got it.
So to initially answer your question, my mindset and my shift of my business hasn't really changed. It's more like instead of being scared and backing down, I'm like, all right, here we go, full throttle. Let's see what the next 45 days brings by stepping on the gas even more.
I like what you said. So essentially, and you've used this a few times for a little while, and a lot of people do this. The foundation of your business was more creativity. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Back in the day, right? And then you shifted and you said, I'm going to focus on a solid foundation of systems models that are profitable, sustainable, duplicatable as you grow your team. So you're saying that having that foundation has really given you peace of mind because you've got things going. It's not so much of an impact as if you were more creative.
That is exactly right. Well, two things. Everybody knows I shifted to more of a listing focused business last year, and being listing focused allows you actually to be more busy with the right productive activities.
Like that.
3 listings this week that are either having photographs taken or coming live. I've got a listing appointment. I have had 2 cancel, right? So we're dealing with that right now. There's a lot of uncertainty.
And we're going to get into that. Yeah.
We have currently scheduled, I think, 4 or 5 closings in the coming 3 to 4 weeks. We have 3 listings, like I said, coming on the market in the next. So the only thing there is like, how do I handle and manage their expectations? And, that I'm just jumping in as I'm through this together. I don't know what this brings, but let me tell you how we're going to adapt virtually, right?
You said
So the foundation and the creativity, yes, the foundation's there. The foundation's laid in the listings versus being out with buyers. The support is the team that we're building around those listings when they come in. But there is creativity there in that, virtually, how are we dealing with no open houses and how are we marketing the property slightly different so that the customer feels like we've made an adaptation so that people can see the whole home and not just like, some still photos.
So I'm going to get into specifics right now because I love it. And I'm right on what you said, man. It's like listening to, Einstein of real estate right now. I just really appreciate you. Really appreciate you being here, man.
Come on now.
No, sincerely though, you're saying some really good things. And a lot of people, I think that sometimes in these masterminds, we get too, so I'm going to get really specific. And here's the great thing, everybody that's watching, if we don't have an answer right, mute and jump in, right? So this is, like I said, we're leading this and we're leaning on Aaron said, and yet if for some reason we went into something and we're middle gap or something, just raise your hand and jump in, okay? That expectations. I want to go back to expectations for a second because I think one of the biggest I could do, especially as listing agents or agents of our fiduciary, is making sure that we set day one, hey, things are going to happen or they could happen. My biggest role here is make sure we have the least amount of surprises along the way, right? Mr. and Mrs. Seller or Mr. Buyer. So what kind of expectations have you already implemented in those conversations or plan to implement in upcoming?
Well, I literally just got off a phone call. We got the photos and we're ready to go pre-market, right? Coming soon. My guy said, look, we're moving to Ohio and Ohio's shut down. What is if we're going to do if we can look for properties? And I said, well, so tell me what we're talking about here. We're ready to go on the market for you. Are you saying you wanted to delay that? But delay that. Okay, great. So we took video now. So we have a video tour. We have the photos. We have the coming soon marketing. What I told him was like, just like you, I really don't have an answer for you, but what I can do is put it coming soon, test the waters on social media and the MLS, see what kind of activity we get there. And depending on whether or not the government or the governor shuts the state down, adapt with you and we can push back the live date or sell it virtually. I said, honestly, this is uncharted territory. What I do know is I'm here to make sure we get through this.
So you're doing, I got you, Eric. So you're doing a really good job of making sure that they know, hey, they've got a teammate, they've got a confidant in you, right?
Well, our real estate is a team sport, right? And so what we do is we tell them, look, and it's on our pamphlet, your national agent, real estate is a team sport. Guys, it is what it is if you steal it, bastards. No, I'm just kidding. But real estate is a team sport. So when you hire us, you're hiring somebody on your team. Like my job to accomplish your goals. And then when you walk through what a fiduciary is at that point, they understand that they're not just hiring me and I'm not just getting a commission. My job is to exceed their expectations. My job is to make sure that I have a client for life or somebody that's going to recommend or refer me to 3 to 4 other people. And that when I call, I don't have to be embarrassed because I did a bad job. It's more about knowing right now that the guy on the other end of the phone protects their interests so well that they can trust that I'm not to get a sale to save and put some money in my pocket for the next 30 days.
Right.
You have to, that's coming from contribution. That's understanding what our job truly is and what representation truly is. Our responsibility to the client as that grows and as our grow, we are protectors of that interest. And now I wake up every day, I'm like, okay, oh gosh, what's going to happen? Then it's, wait a minute, you're starting your day at 5 a.m. again. What's my number one activity first? It's get my mind right. It is the first thing I've done the last 3 days, because we did take our vacation, is, be thankful. Then set my mind right for the day and listen to a podcast. Right now I'm listening to Be Obsessed or Be and then the Feed the Beast, Starve the Doubt chapter.
Okay.
He says, you tell everybody, there is no room in my world for doubt. And there is no room in my world for if you do not support my vision or my goal. Especially right now. I mean, I got lucky and found that book last week by accident on Amazon, but it's perfect for me because I listen to that chapter 5 every morning minutes, and it tells me, do not doubt yourself. And it also knows that everybody on here going on. But I tell you what, if we sit back and we wait and we go, okay, it's all going to be good in 45 days. Well, then now we're 125 days behind. Whole focus is get my mind right, get focused, keep pushing so that whenever this thing ends in 45, 60, 90 days, I'm 2 to 3 steps ahead and I take market share. And I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm telling you, not doing it.
Hey, I like that. I like that. So you hit on a few really good things. I'm gonna do a quick reminder. Anybody that's not speaking right now, please. I know we had a couple people add on. Even the click of a glass or something, we can hear that really well. Just because your speakers are amazing on your side. All right. Before we get too far down there, and Aaron, you're doing phenomenal, man. Thank you so much for the insight. Also, I love that book. It's one of my favorites. Eric, what did you hear that you had something for input for?
Yeah, so I think 2 things. One is the fact that he said, I don't know, this is uncharted, right? One, I think there's power in that. When you've got clients that are coming to you, what's going on and all this uncertainty, to be like, you know what? I've never experienced this before either, but we're going to do this together, right? You've got them on your team. We're going to go through this together, and I'm going to take care of you. The other thing is there's validity in that, right? If you're pretending like you know what's going on and what's going to happen and all this, and then it goes a different direction, then you have lost all credibility with that client, right? So there's a lot of, whether it's talking about the economy, whether it's talking about COVID-19, whether it's talking about, features in a house, it's okay to say, what, I'm not sure, but I got you. Let me go find out, right? And so I think there's something very powerful.
Well, and also, let me ask y'all a question, and this can be, Aaron, I'm asking you directly on this. How cool is it that in a world where we have to say that, right? None of us have lived through something like this ever, right? Our parents haven't even lived through, like, this is truly.
Well, I think Wallace lived through the 1918 flu.
Probably, right? Probably. I mean, he was in his 20s and then, he
needs to be leading this.
He was probably partying a lot then, right? So no. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, too, how cool is it? Because even though, hey, we don't know all these answers, do you guys feel empowered? It's a benefit to tell them what Keller Williams is doing to empower our next steps, the shifts, the training, all this stuff. Do you think that's a value add to speak to your clients? I'm asking. I don't know.
Well, let me talk about a few other things that have been implemented for me personally. The DTD2, the calling through my database and killing the Zillow and the realtors and the realtor.com. I had to call today. Hey, and before, if I had any doubt about picking up and dialing through the A's, it's today, even my realtor friends, hey, how are you doing?
Yes.
What's going on in your world? So the call reluctance, if you've got it, now should be the easiest time in the world to pick up the phone because we've all got something to talk about. And start with that and then remind them about real estate. But at the same time, I have put my lead gen into overdrive and it's paying off, not in that I'm getting deals left and right, in that I'm connecting with people I keep putting off connection from, right? And so please, if any, get your mind right and connect with people. They need it, and they need to hear that it's a scary time for everybody, but no matter what, is that a shoulder to cry on? Is that a, is it a friend to talk to, or who do you know? What it is a reason to connect. So use it in that light.
I love that. And always think back to, it's hard sometimes for us to comprehend exactly how important our role was at one point in our past client's life and how big our role can be in our future clients that we haven't met yet or haven't connected with yet. Imagine you've got all your bank accounts set up with how many businesses or whatever, and the biggest bank account that you've got, if you don't have somebody calling and telling you how that bank account's doing, if it's going up, if it's going down, you don't know. that to me is that you're just providing a value in that in general, right? You're going to check in on them. And also they're going to ask you about the market. They're going to ask you about the housing and what's my house worth, right? Because that right there is their biggest bank account, because a house is an investment. If we take all the emotions out of it, it's an investment. So even from that level of contribution, it's amazing. And I love what you said. You're even calling real estate agents. I mean, how powerful is it? The ones that you respect, like they in the next 30, 60, 90 days, share that pivot page with them. You know, you can be purposeful with every single call. I love that, man. That's great. That's great. Does anybody have anything so far before I go into this next phase? And please, if you do, just unmute and holler in. Okay, cool. You said you got 3 listings coming up this week? We'll take a second to celebrate that. I mean, like, high five to you, bro. That's what I'm just going to give you that right there. I love that, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, 2420 McGinnis will be at $515,000 buyer.
Okay, all right. Nice plug. I like that. Nice plug. I'll wait for the virtual.
In your inbox.
So, are there any conversations that are different between the people in your database and current clients? All right, you told us kind of the conversation around that. About a client that calls you and says, "Hey, I'm nervous. I want out, or I'm not going to move forward," or something of that nature. How are you navigating those conversations right now?
Carefully, honestly, you got to. It's not about me. Tell me exactly what's going on and how we can help. I think you asked that question first. Because the market dipped 40% in a week. Yeah. States and cities are shutting down, so you can't sell somebody into buying right now. It's got to be an advisory conversation. Look, I'm here. We're working. What do you need? How can I help? Right. In some cases, it's still smooth sailing. Right. We've got 2 that are just got past inspection. Okay. Hey, that's a piece. Okay. But then I got another guy who's like, oh my God, my 401k just dipped and I'm not sure if I'm getting my budget that's supposed to be closing in January. I don't know how to answer that question for him. Is this thing going to be over in 60 days? I don't know. So what is it we can do today to calm your nerves? Right. I just think you have to approach it just like everything. You have to come from contribution. I am here to help. If that's what you need in order to, do we need to get out of this deal in order to make you feel safe and get back to it in 60 days? Then that is absolutely what I'm
that's
here
the
for.
Bigger thing, right? Because you're coming from contribution, you're making sure you're on the team with them. My follow-up question was, anybody that won't move forward, anybody that is saying, no, I'm too nervous, or the bonus, or whatever that is, what is your next step in making sure that that deal is not lost? It's just
well, like right now, I had a conversation with a guy who's looking to sell and buy, and that was all supposed to happen kind of May. And so then I just said, look, here's the deal. None of us knows what's going on. I'm going to April. Then we're going to follow up 1st of May. And then, if this happens in June, we're still on the same. I'm not stopping, honestly. I mean, uncertainty in the market. I think my confidence in my prospecting right now is higher than it's ever been, because I can't lose. There's not deals I'm fighting. Sorry, I take that back. I got some deals I'm fighting. But there's not yes or no me. It's a yes or no win. And so when it's just about timeline, then it's about, hey, how can I best serve? And when you turn it on that, it's not a salesman. A pro becomes more fiduciary, almost without trying, right?
I like that a lot, actually. Because the biggest thing you can do is stay in touch with them, right? And stay on their team and talk about plans over and over and goals over and over, because they're not lost. They're just delayed.
And let me confirm, I understand exactly what it is I can do to help. Right. I mean, it's because I think this is the biggest mindset hurdle that everybody's going to, well, nobody wants to list right now. I'm not going to call them. They're just going to say no. Well, first of all, we know they're going to say no anyway. So the whole point of the call is to get the no's out of the way. Get back to, let me ask you what your original plan was, right? Is that still in play for 2020? Is it delayed, or is this something that needs to happen? Now, we know the entire world apparently is on hold right now. So then it becomes asking permission for the follow-up. Hey, you and I both understand that we're delayed. What I want to know, is it okay with you? And at this point, they're a stranger. Follow up in 30 days as things start to shift, and then show you the value I can add to your world to help you accomplish your goals in the next 3 to 6 months. Would that be okay with you, Mr. Seller, right? And so when you can get there, you're still a stranger and kind of building a pipe follow-ups that actually, if you do what you say you're going to do, become viable here in May?
So really, you're just filling your pipeline with those conversations, essentially, right?
I mean, Marcus, you have to,
Yeah.
right? I mean, when this thing's over with, I'll be damned if I'm going to fall off.
And also, I've had a lot of conversations, right? When this thing is over, we're going to be booming. All the people that were on the fence that wanted to buy a month, 2 months, 3 months prior to, and they're just chilling. All of them are going to call you at the same time, right? So you've got to have that leverage piece, that time, everything focused in. And I'll tell you, there's a big difference between having 10 buyers and 10 listings.
There's a difference between 10 buyers and 10 listings. Absolutely.
And that biggest difference, if we were to sum it up with one word, that biggest difference is what?
Freedom.
There you go. Freedom, time, leverage, whatever you want to call it, right? It's the exact same word in different formats. So I love that you're chasing listings. And I'm going to circle right. Did this a while back. You made this move a while back. Going listings focused. What's it done for your life?
To be more productive. It's freed me up to focus on my business. And you work on your business versus in your business. Even, Mr. Worthy over there said, man, I've noticed, right? And I think that freedom allows you to learn where you need to grow. When you're when you're wrapped up and you're just trying to get that moment, you're just trying to satisfy and sell, and people are like, you should do listings. And I'm like, I can't, I don't know why. And then all of a sudden you start doing them. You're like, okay, now here we go. Now I'm creating a platform for others to come in for own houses and create their own form of success, right? And so when you're busy chasing the buyer or just chasing the deal, you don't have time to stop and slow down, sometimes even come from contribution, because, man, I got to get in this house to get that contract going, and then now and the next and the next and the next, versus, okay, now my phone's ringing because people want to know about this house I got.
And it's a lot easier, right? A lot easier.
It's a lot. I don't know the easier.
The word in this scenario, man. Easier is the word.
The reason I won't say easier is because sellers are a different beast. You still have to have mastery, right? I would say it's a lot more. You can be in one place handling multiple things versus being out and about. So it's a lot more. It's easier to structure a schedule.
Well, especially for you right now. I mean, you made that adjustment months back, and now you're talking about listings, and how easy is it to have the conversation or digitally showcase this listing? How can we get it out to the world versus, okay, now I've got 8 houses to look at. How do I digitally show 8 different ones to these buyers? How do I navigate? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
It is easier. Well, see, I proved it.
Well, let me put it this way. If I was paying what I was paying for internet leads today, like I was in June, and issues, let's say, that I'm having today that I was having, I would be in a panic. I would be in a totally different boat. Right now, I feel good about the direction I'm headed mentally and with the business. I know, just like all of you guys, we don't know where the next 45 to 60 days is going to lead us. But I tell you what, I feel good. I feel positive. I'm ready.
I like that.
because I do believe it will end, and I do believe that I'm on, you know, maybe Anderson's level yet, but on my
Yeah.
way to that direction, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's awesome. So a couple things that I'm gonna bring so y'all know. All right. First and foremost, toggle over your screen one more time. Even if you're on your phone, just tap the screen on your phone. There's a chat button. All right. If you have any questions or you want us to discuss anything, about 15 more minutes slot for us, and I'm time that he didn't know I was going to steal, because I took 30 minutes and he's just doing so well that I'm going to ask him a few more questions. If you have any topics, questions, anything, drop it there. All right. Let me ask the group though, and y'all can either comment, whatever. And he's here on my screen. So when I do this, I'm like pointing to him. I don't know where I am on your screen. When you hear him talk about everything that he's talking about right now, do you hear freedom? Do you hear positivity? Do you hear, like, he's energetic and motivated? Would you agree? Like, what do you hear when you just hear him talk, just the way he's approaching us?
Hear a lot more freedom and excitement.
Freedom and excitement. I love that. What'd you say, bud?
Conviction.
Ooh, conviction. I like that too.
There's also clarity in what he's talking about.
I was going to say it. Would you say it one more time for everybody? Clarity, because he also sounds very powerful with his vision of where he's going. And if we just back up, power is clarity, right? And he's got that. That's awesome. That's
my goal hasn't changed, right? I'm 75 listings sold this year, Marcus, and I woke up a week ago to a different world, but didn't change my goal. It didn't change me. It didn't change what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not going to lie. You know, I've had a little anxiety. I've been a little like, oh gosh, but once again, I get up and I approach exactly the same. I told Mary too, I said, I need to go ahead and plan that school is not coming back. They haven't said it yet, but if we wait for that announcement, we are not taking control of the next 6 months, because after that, summertime. So let's plan like school's not going back. That's the first step, is let's control our environment. Then I'll focus on me, right? And then also Mary and I work together. So we are focused on the kids and normalcy at home, and let me focus on this. And once again, it's all the same realm, but without that, hey, everything's normal kind of mindset. Okay, I take that back. Not normal, but the world's changed. I can't change myself and what I'm trying to accomplish, because if I do, I will be acting in fear versus who I know I am, which is the guy that's going to do 75 listings this year, right? So at the end of the day, it's just that simple, and I'm not giving up on that goal.
So, and I love this. I think we can sum it up quickly, right? Reasons or results. And you are, side note, you just muted yourself in case you didn't know. Reasons or results, and you are choosing, I'm going to get results in front of me. Now here's the thing. We had tornadoes, we got Corona, we had all that, and you're going to keep the mindset, and you're doing great, of 75. How many listings did you take last year?
17.
Okay. So a small increase then, right? 17 to 75.
I'm already on track to see my Zillow account go from 65, 35 buyers, sellers to, I just went to 52, 48 sellers, buyers. I know it's working.
There we go. I love that, man. I love that. Okay. And I think the final question for me, I'm referring to the notes that I've sent in
percentages,
here.
not numbers.
Yeah. What best, and you said a few things, all right, so I'm not trying to be redundant on here by any means. What best practices from MREA or Shift are you focused on right now?
I mean, honestly, right now I am lead genning more than I have in the last probably 4 years. I got on the phone, got busy at 6:30 yesterday, and I stopped at 6:30 last night. I'm lead genning today, really DTD2 and database focused because I had let that go for so long, but I have no fear about those calls right now. And so I'm hyper overdrive. And I mean, lead gen like crazy.
So I love that you said that. And I saw you in action yesterday, and man, you were very purposeful. And it's nice when Alex Brandau's not there to distract us, right? I'm just kidding. It's one of those too. The DTD2 schedule has officially changed, and we've already rolled it out for this week. Instead of 2 letters, now we're doing 4 letters. And it's because Gary says when it's a shifting on lead gen. And brother, you did yesterday. So I got to give you some props there for sure. I love that. Okay, so that's what you're focused on there. What about anything from the shift book? And when I say that, I'm talking about your profit and loss, your expenses, anything of that nature. And I know you already did some of those best practices before we got to this point. So whether you did them a couple months ago or you would be doing them now had you not, share with us what you've done with your true profit focus on your business.
Well, I mean, like you said, I already kind of tweaked that.
Yeah.
And in building the organizational model, it's the money isn't spent on lead gen; it's spent on the cost of sale or the foundational support inside the organizational model. So, those numbers are a little harder to tweak. But the profitability there, we're still at or above 43%. So really, as far as P&L, we haven't had to make any adjustments, but we're looking May 1st, right?
So hold back. I'll let you go into P&L in just a second. You just said 43%. Aaron, I have no idea what you're talking about with 43%. I have no idea. Tell me, as an agent on here, that's a quick reference. All right, what's that mean?
It's the budget model
Okay.
for the MREA. So your profitability should be somewhere between 40 and 43%, the original MREA book.
Okay, so we should have 30% expenses. We should have a 30% cost of sale. Is that correct?
Yep. And 30, 30, 40 is the basic breakdown. If you go down to start to break it down real deep, 43% profitability is where they're like, hey, here's the cost of sale, something we did last year some we're doing this year. We made an adjustment in February we weren't doing last year, is counting me as a cost of sale and putting me on a salary so that profit is true profit versus, hey, I'm making all this money. What do I do with it? And not like I'm anyway, but so that it's business, right? There's true profit. Before my profit margin was high. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. But I wasn't taking that into account. So I said at the beginning of the year, what if I take that into account? What is my actual profitability? And I bet it's probably somewhere a little bit we've seen a true profitability, which is, I think the difference is actually knowing that number. Like, am I making money or not?
I love that. So tracking these numbers at a high level has actually made you more accountable to your daily activities, right? Because if you keep your eye on your money and the only way to really accomplish the goal is to stay in relationship with it.
The other day we were in your office and the conversation we were having and what I said was my job as a business owner is to hold every single dollar accountable. And I need to know that every dollar that's going out is bringing some sort of return, and whether that's time or actual return money. That's where I've gotten over the last 7 years, where, 7 years ago it was just, oh my God, who can I connect with and show a property? Now we're spending $1. Am I getting $1 back? Right. Or am I even getting 50 cents back, or am I getting an hour back? And once you can get there, once you're tracking to that, it changes the way you look at things.
Yeah. You become hyper-focused, right, on the activities that are actually going to drive you forward, as opposed to entrepreneurial and just saying, oh, okay, I'll just do this today. Or, man, I worked really hard. It eliminates that. Would you?
So too, you can then track, what do I have to get done this month, right? Like, what am I planning? What am I planning for in Q2? What am I planning for in Q3, et cetera? Bro.
Okay, cool. Well, Aaron, I want you to know, buddy, on behalf of everybody here, and we've got a really great group here. On behalf of everybody here, I want to say thank you for your time and for pouring into us. We've got roughly 6 minutes on this Zoom call. So guys, I'm going to open it up to any questions, any comments, video or not, guys. We can still hear you if you unmute yourself. So yeah, anything from you, maybe even ahas that you got from this, that would be fantastic too.
Don't all speak up at once.
Everybody's nervous on that first
I
one.
don't
Give
want.
them a
I'm
little bit.
nervous. I don't know what to say.
Andy's always nervous, man. He's always hesitant to talk. Sweaty.
Hey, I just want to say thanks. I think one of the takeaways I always have talked to Aaron is just clarity, conviction, and I love how he quotes the MREA, and I love how DTD2. I love how he said things that we hear every day, and it's working for him. I love how he let go of Zillow and Realtor.com.
And
I love how he had 17 last year, and he's going for 75.
And here's the cooler thing, and thank you for saying that. He's saying all these things. He's saying all these things, and yet he truly adopted these things, right? So he's living it. I think we talk a lot about it, and yet implementation is the biggest thing. It's that success level that you're looking for.
But
and
I think the key is too, guys, and Andy, thank you so much for saying that. But if I wasn't talking to you guys one-on-one and having these conversations, I mean, you guys hold me accountable, because once I say it, I have two choices, right? Be the guy who said it or be the guy who did it. And for me, I want to be the second. So, you know, when's on here, you know, I get to sit down with him and say, hey, man, help me out here. And Josh too. You know, Josh was down at the beach last week, and I met with him for a little bit. I think that's the one so many people in our market won't have, is the ability to come together as a group and have these conversations that truly, you know, help us grow. And the one other thing that I was always rushed, oh my God, I got to be a millionaire real estate agent tomorrow. Well, now I understand, you know, it's more of a 10, 15, 20-year vision that I'm putting together. Even that probably took 6 years to get to, you know, to understand that much.
Well, I love that you said that, because if you look back at any company, and yes, we can always find the exceptions, guys. I get it. There's always those rocket type stories, and those are the ones that get the news, right? Those are the ones that get the flash. And yet, if you go to the foundational companies, guys, this wasn't a 1, 3, 5 year process. They've been in business for years. And that's what we're doing, right? If you're in corporate America, you're not going in there 1 year and be like, why haven't I made $500,000? I don't get it, right? It just doesn't happen. So you got to climb the ladder. And essentially you're climbing your own ladder that you built. It's really cool. And I love that you said that, man. That's great. Anything else from anybody?
Sorry, one more thing. I guess I'm so nervous. I'm talking a bunch. The other thing the takeaway I had is the fact that we're in this season, and we can always go unsure of what to say when we call our database. And now it's like there should be no hesitation at all. It's just calling them to say, hi, how are you? How are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah. And by doing that, what's that do really, Andy, in your world? We talked about it a little bit. What's it do to you?
Well, I think it also it sets everyone at ease. I think if it's a cold call, if it's a database, whatever, whoever's on the other end of the phone, the tone of conversation, it moves it over to DC of business. And makes it a genuine conversation of like, hey, we're all going through some weird stuff right now. Like, are you in that? How's that? You know, and then the conversation can lead to, and how can I help you? How can I help you get to the next step? And then the conversation can move more towards.
Well, it creates a connection, right? But even somebody because you just haven't talked to your database the way that you should have, right? It's 2 years. 3 years, you haven't all you said, call them up. Hey, how are you? Yeah, there is humanity. How are you? Right? Immediate connection. I love that you said that.
Send the follow-up text, guys. So many people I don't ever leave a voice. Nobody answers. Copy and paste a million times. Hey, it's me. I'm calling to check in. Up. Boom, move on. I mean, the truth is, that is so much more important today. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is how to survive the next 45 days. That's what everybody else is talking about too. Everybody is concerned. We just happen to be a group of colleagues trying to figure it out for ourselves.
Aaron, I'd like to thank you personally. It's amazing how you've pro and how you've succeeded so well. And I love the Zoom. To me, the Zoom creates a lot of community that we don't get otherwise.
I agree. And
we can be in the office, but with the Zoom, I mean, you have to pay attention.
And I got to tell you, Wallace, it's one of those things. They say the camera adds 15 pounds. Man, you looking slim and trim over there on my screen. I don't know. It just maybe the high def that I got.
Yeah, right. I wish.
Anything from anybody else, guys?
I want to touch base on just a couple points that Aaron made. Truly impressed at him, and we've had our bro hugs and crying it out a little bit, which I appreciate. But a couple things that he said, managing expectations, that's huge. And a lot of times in sales, we don't do that from the beginning, and that will really make your the whole transaction a lot smoother for all parties. The story that you're telling yourself every single day is what's going to get you through this. Listen to Grant Cardone. I'm a huge fan of Grant Cardone's as well. There is no room for doubt, and that's part of your affirmations every single day. Another thing, control your environment. You can only control what you can control, and that your environment is pretty much the only thing you can control. And him teaming up with Mary, she's probably got the harder job right now, right? With the kids, and I commend my wife for the same thing, because she's going that crazy at home, having to stay there. So controlling your environment. And then the last thing, which I have not great at, which I am improving on and looking at, I'm pretty close to hiring my first executive assistant, is your profit and loss and tracking all your numbers. And you get those, just those foundational things. I can tell in Aaron's business, how he's grown just in the short time I've been here. And I can only imagine all of our businesses will grow if we have, just follow those foundational models.
I love that, man. I absolutely love that. And I wrote all the things, well, in the generic term, I wrote all the things you did in the chat thread. So you got the ahas out there, man. That's great. That's
I'll
awesome.
say this too, just kind of what Alan was saying, like Aaron's P&L, if y'all have never seen it, it's the most detailed P&L I've ever seen. It's unreal, breaks it down. Then he has another spreadsheet that breaks it down by the percentage of the MRA model. We are not to that level yet. However, we started a P&L, right? If you don't have one, just do one. Make a basic one. How much did you spend? How much did you make? And understand where your money's getting here tomorrow. You may not have this amazing spreadsheet tomorrow. Start somewhere and work your way. You're walking up your own ladder. Start somewhere. Be accountable to your money.
And that's not me. Like, I didn't do that, right? That's leverage. That's Barbara on my team. And Katie, and everybody else had a little part in that. All I did was go and sell and then throw this mess. So clean that up. Right? But at the same time, focusing on it, now understanding it and using it as a tool is where I am now, because I went through all of that before, but I can't take credit for that.
That's awesome, man. And to speak to what Eric said and what you're doing, your first time ever doing a P&L, it didn't look like that. And yet doing P&L will then look at the numbers and be like, you know what? I could actually hone in on this expense or where this is going. Let me get even more detailed there. Oh, we've got a system and model that what it should perfectly look like, right? Already. So it's Eric, that's a great point. All right. Anything else, guys?
Hey.
Go ahead, Alice.
No, this is Chris. Hey, I just want to say, AJ, it's been great. I mean, he and I did business together before I came to Keller, and it's been all a great thing. But I can tell you right now, this time, I've been through some changes throughout the life of my businesses, and I'm taking advantage of this time to get my database put together. I've got a database that people would have left it sit for as long as I've been at Keller. So I have actually leveraged my some friends who are unemployed to help me build that database, and it is take off. So I mean, not only scared of this situation, I'm also taking advantage of the
Love
time.
that. Love that. Well, it's all about, and guys, if we drew, and I'm going to do my best on the screen, right? Because I can't do a tracker. If we drew a simple bill, right, and then we broke it up in sections, okay? This first section is the smallest section. It's about 4 to 5% of total people, right? This section that we call early adopters. These are going to be the ones that take the most market share. And Chris, that's exactly what we got to be doing right now. We got to be those early adopters and get it. We've got to adapt, pivot, shift, whatever terminology you want, and take action. I love that you said that. And I love that you're leveraging people who are unfortunately unemployed right now due to everything. How powerful is that too? That creates a whole nother story with the story. So that's really cool. Props to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys, out of respect of time, I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you. Aaron, you're the man. You are the man. And notice, my friend, you did such a good job that Alex Helton hadn't even turned on his video. I mean, he was intimidated to show up, or if he's intimidated by the push-ups that he's got to do in order to stay in the competition. I don't know. The questions are out there. Nobody cares.
I think doing them. That's what the video.
He's probably the whole time this Zoom has been going on push-up. I love it. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Proud to be in business with you. I'll talk to you very soon.